Now, I think every single person in the Youghal and the East Cork area is still buzzing about what happened last Sunday. But two of the people instrumental in organising the whole event are sitting in front of me, and that is Aileen Murray from the Youghal Socio-Economic Group and Helen Mulcahy from Cork County Council. And ladies, describe, if you can, how you're feeling right now.
I suppose overwhelmed and very, very, very proud of everyone in Youghal. It's incredible to see a community like this come together in the manner that they did and made something that you could have, maybe you could focus on the negative and say, my God, the rain, but it just made people even more determined to make it the best event ever, and it well and truly was. And it just goes to show the power that this community has when it gets together.
It's
unreal.
Stunning. I mean, the rain in a strange way nearly added to the atmosphere of the whole thing, didn't it?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get to the day itself, okay? So what time did you guys actually set out and start out on Sunday morning?
We started out about 4:30.
Yeah.
And we stayed on the course, throughout the course for the entire day up until I think we left right up to the bitter end. So we were on call and available at all times throughout the day. So we experienced every element of that race firsthand.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
So the announcement is made about 6 o'clock that the swim is going to be cancelled. Aileen, I'll come to you on this one. What's the initial thoughts when you hear... Well, first of all, did you know before it was going to be announced, or did you find out when everybody else found out?
I think there was rumblings that, it was either going to be shortened or that, that conditions were just so that you couldn't actually, they couldn't actually go ahead with it. But obviously we didn't know until that official announcement was actually made that was going to be the case. I think it was sort of, I think anybody who walked down to the beach on the morning, you knew it was inevitable and it was all about safety. And I think that's what it was. I can honestly say I kept saying, and I felt that, look, once this thing gets are up and running, and once the first guy comes over the line, people will nearly forget that there was no swim. It's just get it on the road. We could actually see John Ennis. He was absolutely devastated. But, everybody, I think, just, once the first athlete got on the road, that was it. The whole excitement got going. I think it was just waiting for them to actually get going was obviously a bit tough.
Was the hard thing.
Yeah,
and obviously because we saw the images on Facebook Live, and there was great images. It was really nice to be able to follow the cameras around the course and stuff like that. But the waves were too high. They were just you couldn't.
Absolutely, and I think it was any of the Ironman, the rescue, the surfers would not have been able to actually get to anyone that was in difficulty. They couldn't swim in it. The waves were just too high, and it wasn't the water temperature. It was actually. It was the
surge, the wave surge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Helen, had a plan B been discussed?
Well, Ironman always have a plan B. I mean, full Ironman competitions have been cancelled. Ironman elements of the race have been cancelled for snow, ice, heat, fog.
Not just rain.
It's not just rain. These things happen, and there's always a plan B. So even we knew that regardless that the race would still go ahead and those final two elements would go ahead regardless of the swim. It's one of those things.
Yeah, it's unavoidable.
And the athletes know that as well, That's a gamble that you take.
And I suppose people are a little bit kind of, because it was so fine on the Saturday and so fine yesterday or on Monday, that it purely was an anomaly. I mean, because it didn't stop all day long.
We haven't seen the likes of that in a long, long time. Most certainly not in the summertime. But it was a freak weather event, really, on the 23rd of June. Who would have thought it?
Listen, it happened for whatever reason it happened.
Yes.
It was clearly meant to happen, and it didn't ruin the show in any way. The fact that the bike race continued at the expected time at 7:20, logistically that must have helped you, did it?
Absolutely, and that we always knew that would happen because it's very important that that everything rolls in with the road closures, because everybody has been advised of specific times that their road will open and close. So if you don't start the bike at the time that you should have started it, it has a knock-on effect on all the arrangements that have been made for road closures. So safety becomes an issue then for people who aren't aware that the race is delayed and they assume a road is open and they travel on it. So it's very important that you stick to the plan.
Yeah, because people have to remember, weeks and months in advance, people have been warned this road is going to be closed from X amount to X amount, And as you said, people mightn't have been aware that the swim didn't go ahead. So you have to keep that. Was there ever an option to delay it by a day? Was that ever an option?
No, absolutely not. It's on the 23rd, it's on the day, or it's not at all.
Yeah. And people have to realise that as well. I mean, because we could have gone into Monday, and Monday could have been as bad. But then you're dealing with schools that would have had to be closed, roads that have been closed. But you could, logistically, you couldn't do it.
Yeah, and the I suppose there's a whole Ironman schedule and operation that kicks into place. You saw there straight away on Monday, everything started to be dismantled. They're looking at the next race, so. No, that was never an
And it is
option.
amazing, to be fair, to watch how on schedule, not only on Sunday, but all through last week, that we knew that Monday the Green Park and bang on time it was there, and because it is a machine, isn't it?
Very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the swim doesn't happen. Everybody gets off on their bikes. Do you make your way into town then? Is that, yeah?
Yep, we made our way back into town, I suppose, for just a quick briefing in relation to the cancelled swim and the next element of it, and just to regroup, basically, and keep a close eye on the course, you know.
Did you go up to Windmill Hill?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
We were
wasn't
there,
it?
actually. We saw Brown Crystal. I think we were there for the first.
Yeah.
And the next guy round, and obviously Alistair. But I think even the marshals, we were down at the bottom of the hill at that stage, and the marshals, the guys who were there, you'd know that they were actually cyclists themselves, and it was just the fear and anticipation of the guys coming around Ash Street, and they tried to slow them down, coming around the first guys going up. You know, so it's amazing.
Was it at that point, or was it later or before, that you realised that people were going to come out regardless of the weather? At what point did you go, do you know what, the weather is not going to hamper the support here?
Well, you see, Ironman supporters come out anyway, so it was never going to be any other way for them. They travel long distances to see their family take part, and rain or shine, they will stay till the very bitter end. I suppose there was an option there for many of the locals not to do that because they don't have to do it, but I think it was infectious, the whole lot, and they very quickly realised that they were caught up in something that was incredible, and it was the stuff of legends, really. And I think people got sucked into it and just, you know, they couldn't leave. They were drawn to it.
They were.
You probably had the different stages then, that people wanted to see the professionals going through first, and then what kept them going then was knowing that you had then, we'll say, the locals and people that they knew, and that as well. So there was the next wave of people coming through, and then I suppose you had the ones that were struggling, really struggling, and to get those through. So there was different kind of elements to the race even as well.
And much like the rain on Sunday, the support never wavered. Sure, it never stopped.
No.
If anything, it got bigger.
Exactly.
I take my hat off to every single person who stood on that hill in the cold and the rain for hours and hours until the last bike went through. You know, it was amazing, and it just speaks volumes about our community. It's just incredible. They have so much to be proud of.
Well, it does. And we spoke about this last Thursday when you were on with me, before the Ironman even happened, that the town had rallied in behind with flags and support. And even at that point in time, the athletes were commenting on the welcome they were getting and all of that. And you wonder, well, you can't really imagine that it's going to get any better than that. And then Sunday happens and you go, my God almighty, this thing is...
I think it turned out to be nearly a different story
Completely,
to what we
wasn't
actually
it?
ever imagined. And you know what? Maybe it's made it a lot more memorable. Maybe it happened for a reason, who knows? And that, you know, that there's a sense of people who didn't complete it will have more determination than ever to come back. This is not going to beat me. They're going to come back for the welcome. They're. I think there was a comment I saw yesterday. Was one American athlete. I think when they were passing down Main Street, and that just people calling their names and whatever, and they just said, "Is this actually what happiness is?"
Yeah, I saw.
Did you see it?
I love it. It was a really nice thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was maybe, as I said, it was meant to be that it was just creating those memories, and people want to experience that again.
And I think what will happen in a lot of cases is that people will return home and they'll start talking about it, and curiosity will spin. Not even from an Ironman point of view, but I would imagine from a tourism point of view, this is going to have a huge effect. I mean, people are going to want to come to see what all the fuss is about, aren't they?
They will, and they'll come in their thousands. And as soon as the race is announced and booking is open from the 1st of July, people will start training all over again. They'll come for the weekends, they'll come on short breaks from the US, from the UK, from all over. The Ironman effect will last for a very, very long time. There's no question of that.
I know it's early days yet, and I know we've another 2 years in front of us and the possibility of however long after that. Right here and right now, on the back of what happened on Sunday, how likely is it, do you think, that we're going to be able to hold on to this? It's probably an unfair question.
We couldn't possibly answer it. You know, they will be back next year. There's no question about it. I don't know that. That's as bad as it could possibly get.
Yeah.
So we know that.
Yeah.
And we just have to hope it's no different to Medieval Day or anything else that we organise. We're at the mercy of the elements, but it's ours to lose, and it's not our intention to do that.
And I suppose as well, Linda, there's a survey now that will go out to each of the athletes, and they look at the different elements, as in what do they think of the overall experience, the accommodation, all of the different things to do, the race itself. So there'll be a huge amount of feedback that will go back to Ironman, and obviously, you know,
they'll determine from that.
Exactly. And then they look at patterns for next year and that as well. How could they, and I'm sure they'll want to improve on things as well, but they'll give feedback as well to Cork County Council. And, you know, we'll share that, I'm sure, with the community too.
If you had to pick a highlight of the whole experience, let's take Ironman as an experience, is there a highlight for you, or is there too many to narrow it down to one?
There's too many. You know, on Saturday afternoon in particular, I was down in the Mall, and I actually was a little bit overwhelmed. I got a lump in my throat because there was waves of people. It was incredible, the volume of people that were walking down towards Green Park, and it was non-stop, and that's all I could see was just thousands of people walking the streets of Youghal, and we have never seen that. We've never experienced the like of that, and I don't think anybody really knew what was coming down the track for us, and especially the locals certainly did it. Unless you've been to an Ironman, you don't fully appreciate what's coming down the track, and it was overwhelming. And when you put all of that, and if you take that and look at the benefit to Youghal, to the Greater East Cork area, to Cork, to Dungarvan, to everywhere, you know, that Ironman has stayed, it's incredible, you know, and to be a part of that experience and to know that, we've helped to deliver that it's incredible.
You must be so proud of yourselves.
Absolutely.
You must be. You have to be.
Yeah. I actually thought if there was a highlight for me, I would have nearly said on Monday going up through the town, the sun was shining. Yep. You saw all of these athletes crawling around the place.
It was like a scene from The Walking Dead.
It was
town on Monday.
But they had their finishers T-shirts on. They were gorgeous, and they had their medals, and they were in and out, and there was queues out of the different coffee shops and restaurants, and you had all of your different nationalities, and they were getting photographs taken, and it's like, this is what we always hoped for Youghal. And it, you know, it was, and it was, I think as well that definitely it's given people an air of confidence as well, that, you know, we're up there now with the best of the different destinations around the country. We can deliver, you know, an international event. You know, we can give that Céad Míle Fáilte. You know, we are, you know, and I think that confidence in a lot of ways was missing. You know, West Cork can do it, you know, Kerry can do it, but now Youghal can do it as well.
It's nearly put the soul back into the town.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's what it feels like. I think for a long, long time, this town has been nearly in a fog. holding its hand out, waiting for someone or something to grab it, to pull it out of it. And I think Ironman and yourselves and everybody who's involved in organising have done just that. You've held out the hand and pulled us out of it.
And you hit the nail on the head there with everybody involved in it, because it's not just Cork County Council. Yes, of course, we were instrumental. We played huge parts in it. But John Ennis, Laura, Ricky, everybody involved in Ironman, all the triathletes, clubs, the volunteers, all the sporting organisations, the Cork County Council staff that worked non-stop over the weekend to ensure that the town was looking at its very best. Tidy towns, everybody, every element of our community came together and showed that proved what it's like to work as a team and to deliver an event of this quality and as successful as it was.
Yeah, it is. And it's amazing. It's very hard to put that into words, because if you weren't there on the day, because even watching it in the cameras, and it's very impressive to watch it in cameras with all the crowds and the thing, but to actually be there on the day and to feel the end. I mean, it's feeling it. It's not even seeing it. It's feeling it. There was, and there still is. There is still a buzz around the place, which
people don't want to let it go. I think you want to hold on to that feeling for as long as you
it's
can.
like when you go on a really, really great night out. Do you know that feeling? It's like, this is, and then it ends, and you're like, and you're talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. That's what it is. Yeah. And thank God it's back again next year. And for ye, when does planning start for next year? Or has it already
started already.
I was just going to say, absolutely has it, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, and I genuinely feel that the next year will be bigger because of the buzz that this has, and the momentum is still building. So now I suppose our job will be a little bit easier in many respects because we know what's coming. Yeah. And so much planning went into this year that we can just apply a lot of that. There's improvements to be made. There's tweaking to be done here and there on our side and Ironman's. And that'll all work out. We'll have a debriefing in a week or two with all the agencies that were involved, the HSE, the Gardaí, the fire services, get their feedback, which is very important. And you know what? We'll be looking to ensure that next year's event is absolutely perfect. Yeah. Spot on, Yeah.
It feels at this point in time it's going to be a hard one to top, but I bet you it will be topped.
It'll be different again, It'll be a different experience. And I think initially everybody's thought was, oh my God, the swim is gone. What do we actually, how will this affect next year? And in actual fact, a couple of days on from it, it's had that effect that, of the demand we think will be even greater than ever. We'll know on Monday, actually. It'll be a big teller because it'll open for entries on Monday.
Their course registration, which seems bizarre. I mean, and because pre-registration actually started the day after. Yeah. You're going, oh, geez. I mean, seriously. But as you said, it'll be interesting to see how quickly and it'll fill up. Yeah. I would say you're looking at a matter of days and this thing will probably fill up, in fairness it will. We're just getting text messages in there. Meg Carey just texted in to say, well done to everyone involved.
Thanks, Meg.
And it is great. You must be getting such great feedback from everyone, are you?
Yep, everywhere we go. It's overwhelming, We don't often get so much praise. Normally people are giving out us or criticising us, so it's nice to be on the receiving end of all of those lovely comments.
But it's well deserved, Helen. Yeah, it is well deserved. And I know, we were talking last week about this, and you're very humble about it, and John Ennis is very humble, and Ricky, and everyone is very humble about it, and everyone, and it is a big, huge team effort. But a team is made of really amazing individuals like yourselves that decide, you know what, this town can do it. First of all, you have to have the foresight to go, this town is capable of doing it. Because for a long time we doubted our capability in doing it. We just assumed Youghal wasn't as big as West Cork or all these places just because we weren't able to do it.
Yep.
And ye removed that doubt. And ye did it as part of a bigger team, but ye two in particular did it. And absolutely every ounce of praise and goodwill and everything that you're getting is more than deserved. Keep us abreast of all the stuff that is happening from here on out. And this time next year, 21st of June 2020 is when the next Ironman is happening. And hopefully we will sit here again 2 or 3 days afterwards next year and it'll be as successful. I have no doubt, but it will.
Well, of course, one thing was nearly lost in the middle of Ironman was the Greenway announcement for the funding.
Which is, again, a spectacular. We better go on, take the mic,
So,
Helen. Take the mic.
It did get lost in all of this because, under normal circumstances, we'd have been swinging from the rooftops.
It's an amazing achievement.
So it's 8 million and the remainder of the funding has been committed by Cork County Council. So it's full steam ahead with the Greenway. So plans or detailed drawings are being drawn up as we speak. It's full steam ahead.
Brilliant. And what are the hopes for it? When is it hoping it'll be complete? It'll probably take a couple of years.
I'd say realistically it'll be 2 years.
Okay.
From start to finish.
Yeah. Which is, listen,
that's
very small.
That's very long.
Yeah.
And listen, we've got the momentum and the hype and all of the Ironman to keep us going through it. And imagine what's going to happen in 2021 if that Greenway is open in time for this
our
Ironman.
boardwalk as well.
Yeah.
Out to Red Barn.
Yeah.
See, again, like this, the town has rounded a corner. It's nearly, they call it the law of attraction, don't they? It's when the attitude and the thing changes that all of a sudden all this positive stuff's come in. So we have the Ironman for another 2 years. The Greenway has now been secured. The boardwalk is going to be increased outdoor. I mean, lads, honestly.
It's all about Youghal.
It is all about Youghal. You're absolutely right. And on that note, I'm going to leave the two of you go away and will you rest? Are you going to take any time off? Honestly.
I'm on holidays from tomorrow.
Good, for a month I hope.
No, 10 days.
We'll take the 10 days. Aileen, are you going to take any time off?
Hold off.
Somebody must run the show while I'm gone.
No, do you know what we're into now straight after this? Medieval Festival.
Oh,
yes.
Stop.
Yeah, so,
Stop.
and just one quick plug for that. It's on the Sunday of the August Bank Holiday weekend this year.
That's a bit earlier, isn't it?
It is,
than
yeah,
usual,
yeah. We're bringing it forward, so we'll just...
Yeah.
And anyone who wants to throw their hat in the ring to volunteer for it, let us know, please.
Yeah.
We're looking for volunteers. It's going to be even bigger this year. We have a lot of extra activities, so we need more people on the ground.
And I think it's important, guys, as well to remember, the amount of volunteers and everything that came forward for the Ironman. Let's keep the momentum going.
Yep.
Because it can't be just all about Ironman. It's only once a year.
Absolutely.
As brilliant as it is. But there's plenty of other stuff happening in and around.
Yeah.
So if people do want to volunteer, just contact yourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. So you heard it here first. If you volunteered for the Ironman, go on. Volunteer for the Medieval
Rock
Festival.
up for Medieval Day, please.
Can people bring the cowbells to the Medieval Festival?
Absolutely.
How good would that be? To line the back, cowbells going.
We'll have to have an Ironman
Cycle up the hill.
We've a couple of different... Helen, that's your one, dear.
We have some extra things. So we're always trying to make it new and different and I suppose inject a bit of freshness into it. So this year we have a farmyard in your schoolyard, it's called.
Oh, brilliant.
So we will have a fairly substantial petting farm on the higher end of the gardens and llamas that you can walk around the gardens with and free talks on animal welfare. That'll all be part of it. We've a decorate your own fairy door tent.
Brilliant. And they're very popular.
They're very popular with the little girls and we know that. So you'll be able to decorate your own fairy door. And it's just a few extra bits and pieces just to try and...
And it's brilliant. And it's always a great festival, in fairness. I know you've been a bit unlucky with the weather the last couple of years and stuff like that.
But day last year. So
you
never know.
So, Pop, you heard it here. The Sunday of the August Bank Holiday weekend, the Medieval Festival is happening. The guys are looking for volunteers. If you can't hold your hand up at all, give the guys a shout. And when you see these two ladies, as well as the rest of the committee in and around the town, give them a big boola bus. There should be, do you know the way they did the shake a cowbell at them, lads? That's what you do. If you see the lads downtown, shake a cowbell at them. Helen and Aileen, thanks so much for coming in and go away and get a rest for yourselves, really. Thanks a bit.
Thanks, Linda.